Sup flappers, welcome back to another video. And yes, we're going to be talking about the banners, both of the banners, in fact, both the pros and cons, of course. And do remember, it's just my opinion. I hope you guys are watching multiple of these kind of videos to get a good idea of what many people have to say about these kind of banners, right? And in the end, if you find everybody is saying similar things about a certain unit, aka I'm gonna guess Fischl, Diona, then yeah, maybe Fischl and Diona are units that are worthwhile to look into to see if they can facilitate certain teams that you are looking to build. With that out of the way, all right, I don't want to offend anybody by saying certain things because I'm gonna have to give my take on what I honestly think about this banner. I'm not gonna bend over backwards and kiss the skies to try to appease to certain demographics. If I don't think a character is gonna work in certain ways and is not worthwhile, I'm just gonna straight out say it. It's my opinion, this is my channel, and I'm gonna be straightforward and blunt with you guys when it comes to this kind of stuff, and that's what my audience has been largely used to. All right, so let's get into it. First and foremost, this banner is pretty good. I don't want to say it's an amazing banner. Remember, every single 5-star character banner has to come with 3 4-stars, and one of those 3 4-stars is always a dud in comparison to the other 2. I don't want to say the character is bad, but it's always less utilized or less favored in the community or in the meta. It's just how miHoYo has to do it, right? They have to do it this way. They can never make a banner that's truly 100% all value, balls to the walls, let's go hard. It's the same with the weapon banner. I'll talk about that a little later, but now just look at this particular banner. I'm going to give you guys 3 seconds to guess which one out of the 3 4-stars is the dud. 2, 1, 0. There you go. It's Thoma, my friends. Thoma, the problem we have with this particular character is his lackluster kit and the difficulty to bring him to facilitate and to gel well with a lot of units. I'm not saying he has no teams that he works in. He has teams that he can work in. He has these off-meta teams that a lot of people play with, like full 4-star character rosters with like a off-meta shielder being Thoma and some pyro application and whatnot, right? He is not completely useless, but in comparison to someone like Fischl, to Diona, these are characters that have much more defined roles in the game. You know exactly what a Fischl brings to the table, where her strength lies. Does she have weaknesses? Yes, in fact, she has glaring weaknesses as well. However, she does the things that she's very good at very good, and the things that she's bad at, there are other characters in the game that facilitates for those weaknesses, and oftentimes you just straight out won't bring Fischl to those types of content. Same with Diona. Do you want to make her your main DPS? Well, tough luck. That's going to be a really tall task for Diona, but if you need a shielder, you need a healer, but you need an EM buffer, this character is straight up irreplaceable in some scenarios, being also cryo, allowing you to get that powerful double cryo resonance, right? So both of these 4-star characters are high utility, high function, and used in many different teams, especially with Fischl, with Electro becoming more prevalent, I see, with Yae Miko, and a lot of people are now chasing for ride and reruns, as well as potentially C6 Electro is going to start ramping up, hopefully, with the introduction of Yae Miko and future Electro characters, and Fischl hasn't had a rerun in God knows how long. I damn near forgot this character could even be on a banner, so a great pickup for free-to-plays, new players, both in Fischl and Diona. Thoma, not so much. If you get him, you get him. Don't feel bad. He can work, like I keep saying, I keep reiterating. I just feel like people are gonna go down in the comments and say like, oh, did you know Thoma can go in this very unique particular comp that 3 out of 500,000 people play? But you know, you can't just say he's viable. All right, he has his comps. Trust me, he does. Everybody does. It's just for the vast majority of people watching this video, if you're curious as to see which 3 of these 4 characters is the most useful, I'm gonna say Diona, followed by Fischl, and then Thoma. So if you're like a brand new player re-rolling your account, looking to get Yae Miko and maybe snag up one of these 4-stars, Diona is really good as a support healer. Fischl is great as a support DPS, meaning she deals damage while she's not on the field but off the field, and she has this bird that she summons, which we call Oz. It's her elemental skill, and it does damage even when Fischl herself is not on the field. Very powerful and sought after just for that, actually. Okay, now with that all said, let's move into the weapon banner. So this banner, I think is going to be a little more controversial to certain people. I do think with the 4-star weapons, Wave Breaker's Fin, Sacrificial Sword, and the Stringless Bow, all are great 4-star weapons. In fact, I would want to say Sacrificial Bow and Stringless are probably a little higher in value and more accessible to different units as opposed to the Wave Breaker's Fin. There's just a ton of great polearms, so I wouldn't really chase the Wave Breakers in this scenario, but Sacrificial Sword, great. Stringless, great if you get copies of them, multiple copies. You want to get probably like 2 of these swords to R5 if you can. So even if you already have an R5, it doesn't hurt to pull on this banner if you need one of the 5 stars, or probably if you need both of the 5 stars. Who am I kidding? Am I honestly telling you guys to pull on this banner if you only need one of the 5 stars? Don't even touch this banner if you don't need both, or if you're not willing to invest into both of these weapons, whichever one you get, right? So let's talk about the new and upcoming one, right? This weapon, I don't know how it happened. A weapon ended up a little bit of controversy in the community. It's a decent weapon, let's be honest. At worst, it's a stat stick. At best, it's like best in slot for a couple Catalyst characters. The thing is, Catalyst characters just haven't really needed to dig so deep into the pool of weapons. They have some great free-to-play options, and the BP weapon actually is pretty insane. Like, have you guys seen that thing? I know many people don't talk about it, but the BP Solar Pearl, that weapon has a cracked out skill attached to it, right? So this really needs to blow that out of the water for it to be worthwhile. And yes, it's designed for Yae Miko, but people have also said, you know, hey, Lisa, right? I don't even want to touch on that. If you're pulling for Yae Miko, you have the funds, go for this weapon. But I wouldn't suggest you go for this weapon if you don't have Yae Miko. That's just my honest truth. Even for small spenders, unless you're like a whale who's okay to drop $500 plus every month on Genshin Impact, sure, go for this weapon. Who cares? But for most people, small spenders, if you're not getting Yae Miko, don't think about this weapon. It's not worth it. There's going to be a ton of reruns coming very, very soon. That's very worthwhile for both characters and likely weapons. You don't want to end up spending your precious resources right now. All right, now onto the Primordial Jade Cutter. This weapon, how can I put this? Right, it's one of the best swords in the game. It has a great stat line, 44%, I believe, crit rate. In fact, this weapon alone by itself is enough to bump your crit rate requirement 1 or 2 substat on any artifacts with crit rate, and you're easily going to be hitting 50-60% crit rate. And for a lot of sword user, DPS users, that's enough. So this weapon is an absolute godsend for most people if you're able to pick one up. The last time it was here, Kokomi's weapon banner, was it? Like, it was somewhere around that time. It was with Kokomi's, and it was very hard to pick up, and people, miHoYo would not put a weapon this powerful on the banner if the other weapon is also just as powerful. Let's just go back a little bit. Remember when I said over here on the character banner that they always have to put a dud on the banner? Well, in this case, if we're comparing both of these weapons, yeah, the Catalyst is going to be the dud here. This is much more universal. The Jade Cutter is the better weapon out of the two. In terms of being more universal, being better for your investment, the Jade Cutter would be it. But this weapon, if you pair with Yae Miko, of course, splendid weapon. Overall, is this a weapon banner? I tell you guys, hey, you should hunt after it if you got Yae Miko, right? If you already picked up Yae Miko, you're like, oh, let's summon for Yae Miko. I know, whoa, wow, she came home. I won the 50-50. I also got her early. Have some Primo gems left. Really want this sword. I wouldn't mind picking up Yae's weapon, of course, right? Go for it. It's a great banner in that particular scenario, but I wouldn't suggest you go after it if you're skipping Yae Miko. All right, am I clear? With that all said, thank you guys for watching. I wish you guys the best of luck. I won't be live tomorrow for summons, but I'll be live on Wednesday. Things are just too busy. I don't have time to go live tomorrow, but I hope to see you guys on Wednesdays for summons. I'm doing a ton of viewer summons, maybe a giveaway too. We'll see. All right, until then, urge you all, stay safe. Peace.